Well, folks, once again, Captain Boat Builder here, welcoming you back to my basement boatyard. Today, it's episode number 8. And we're going to just call it simply Putting the Pieces Together. We have a little interesting highlight for you, a little bit of video on just exactly what the basement boatyard is. Also, just a little bit of video of 2 of my grandsons helping me put the trailer together. I hope you enjoy the presentation today. All the pieces are coming together and it's starting to look like a boat. So once again, welcome back. Just one small note, folks, as I was putting this video together, I noticed looking at my 77-year-old face that it looks kind of puffy and my eyes are almost swollen shut. Here in the southeast, it's the peak of allergy season. All the trees and flowers and bushes and everything's in bloom. And it really hits me hard every spring, so I wanted to let you know there's nothing wrong with me. It's just allergy season. So folks, especially those of you who have been with me for quite a while, you may have wondered just exactly what is the basement boatyard. So here's a little tour. We're going on a little tour of the basement boatyard, and you'll see where I spend a tremendous amount of time. And you'll see where the insanity starts. The sanding, the painting, the cutting, you name it. So I go down the stairs here carefully, try not to fall down. And you can see that it's sort of a mess. I try to clean it up, but it just gets messy. So here's where my grandson and I are working on the trailer. And the trailer's almost finished. And here's the Viola 14. Sitting right next to the trailer, getting ready to be modified. And now I'm walking into the back part of the basement where almost everything happens. Here's my long table. You can see the 2 Akas that I'm painting and sanding. I shouldn't say painting, but I'm sanding them carefully, covering them with resin. Pretty soon the varnishing will start. Here's the rest of the workshop. It's a mess. I say I know where everything is, but I spend a tremendous amount of time looking for stuff. My wife says I should just get organized. And for me, this is organized. But here's the tour of the basement boatyard. More tables, more space, more mess, more confusion, and I just love it down here. And over here we have more of the basement boatyard. We've got the dagger board and the supports for the mast when we're trailering the boat, and there's the mast and pieces on the floor, and there's the 2 Amas, almost completely finished. I keep saying that, but they just need a few more coats of varnish, and again trying to match them up to the deck of the Viola 14. There's a remote control sailboat that I used to sail a lot. And that pretty much covers our tour of the basement boatyard. It's highly disorganized. It looks like chaos, and I really, really enjoy it. Well, folks, I hope that this next little video will help some of you. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get these Akas right here. I'm trying to get them the right distance fore and aft. I'm trying to get them perpendicular to the center line of the boat. I've shimmed up under here and I've shimmed up under there because I'm trying to get the tips right here and right here from my reference point 56 3/4 inches from the center of the Aka, which I've marked right there. Trying to get them equidistant from the floor, from the carpet. I'm pretty sure my basement floor is completely level. And so my starting point was from the mold to mark the center of the Akas. I've got that marked. And as you can see, I've got a string, a yellow string that runs right down the center line of the boat as best I can do it. So I want to have this lined up directly here. And from the designer, I want to have the center of the mast, the center of the aka, 10 inches apart. You can see where I've got my base plates there and the shims. And I've got the boat level, port to starboard. I've also got it in the correct pitch where the bow is at the waterline, is 49 millimeters higher than the transom. And I've checked it and checked it and taped it and taped it. And I'm going to start drilling. You'll notice that these pieces of hardware that I'm going to use to secure the akas, you'll notice that they are going to be flush with the deck, which is not quite perpendicular to the water. So they angle, you can see here, they sort of angle out just a little bit. So I'm going to be drilling the holes very carefully. And my whole purpose in this is to make sure that the akas are properly placed so that the amas are going to be at the right level above the water, and they are going to be parallel in their tracking. So it's taken me forever. I've remeasured about 85 times just to be sure before I start drilling, and I hope it's right. I wanted to take a moment to show you how I plan to secure the akas to the boat. Now, I'm planning to leave the boat assembled at the sailing club with a cover, and so I won't be taking it apart and moving it with my car, as you see on so many videos where people launch from the beach or the shore. So this is more of a permanent installation. A lot of the akas are secured with line. They're just actually just lashed to the, especially kayaks. And I just didn't want to have a setup like that. So what I've done is I've made some reinforcing plates. And this is, I believe it's 9 millimeter plywood. And it's going to go right on this section of my deck. And underneath it right here, there's a reinforcing piece of wood here. And there's also another one here. And this is all covered with fiberglass. So this reinforcing pad that I've made is going to be epoxied right here. And the aka, see, I've got the hole drilled. It's just going to slide down over this threaded shaft. There'll be a big washer here and maybe a rubber gasket and a nylock fastener. But I just wanted to show you what I've done to reinforce the deck. This is going to be all glued down and revarnished. Now I want to show you what I've done for the underside. So this bolt that you see sticking out here is actually connected to this strange looking thing. And what I've done is I've made an indentation in the back side of this reinforcing plate. This will slide through. It's going to be epoxied in place, and then the whole thing is going to be epoxied down to the deck. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be strong enough. If you're interested in this type of fastener, there's quite a variety. I just wanted to show you, found these kind of by accident. Here it is again. It's a threaded shaft with a base. It's actually tack welded in there and threaded. It's quite strong. But it's a product called Rotolock. And there's the information if you want to call and get more information about Rotolock. They come in many variations. I ordered mine through this company here in Atlanta called McMaster-Car. They stock all of this stuff. They have websites that you can use, and also Rotolock has websites. So it's sort of a unique fitting, unique fastener where you have all this underneath the wood epoxied in and supporting the base. So that's how I'm going to secure the ACAs to the deck of the boat. So in preparing the deck to glue down the pad, the reinforcing pad for the little threaded rod to hold the ACAs, you can see here I've sanded down through the varnish and certainly into the epoxy. Got the edges masked off so that I can trim the fiberglass that I'm going to put down, make a nice edge. And I'm going to be putting down just a little piece of 4-ounce cloth. I'm going to glue that down first, let it partially set up, trim the edges, and then while it's still sort of tacky, I'm going to put the reinforcing pad on just like this. And what I'll wind up with is a nice clean edge here. I can do most of it with my fingers. And then I'll start varnishing again. So now I'm just waiting. I put a very light layer of 4-ounce cloth on the top. I'm waiting for the resin to kick off just a little bit. And then I'm going to take a razor blade and very, very carefully cut this edge off while it's still green, as they say. And then I'll be using a mixture of resin and some bonding powder, be covering this whole thing, and then I'll be putting this in place. And my hope is it'll never come off. But I'm just waiting for the resin to kick off just a little bit more. Well, now these reinforcing pads are in place, and I'm waiting for the epoxy to cure. This little seam that you see right here, I'm going to be sanding that and fairing in a little seam all the way around, almost like a little tiny fillet, sort of like what you see right here. And that'll blend in with the varnish. And then I'll start the process of varnishing these little pads and trying to blend them in with the deck. So folks, I've got the ACAs bolted down to the reinforcing panels now. You can see that the bolt head sticks up. That's a good place to really catch your leg. So I'm going to put some kind of a plastic cap over that so we don't have to worry about getting scratched up or cut. You can see we've got pretty good contact between the ACA shims and the reinforcing plates. Actually on both sides it's pretty good. And I am going to have a piece of rubber in there to take up some of the shock. I'm quite pleased. I've been measuring from this point. This is the 56 3/4 inch from the center. I've been measuring from here down to the floor on both sides. And, you know, I start with the boat just about completely level. And that distance is the same on both sides. So what that means is that the ACAs, you know, this way, left and right, port and starboard, they're even. I do have about a 1/2 inch difference. I wanted to get it exactly perpendicular. I measured from back here, from the center line on the transom, from this exact spot where my finger is. I measured from there out here to the 56 3/4 inch mark on the ACAs, measuring there on the diagonal with the boat from the transom to the spot right, where to go, right here. And I'm within a 1/2 inch between the two sides, but I just wanted to show you, you see how flexible these things are? I think when it gets bolted up to the AMAs, that little 1/2 inch difference will be taken up, and I think I'm close enough. We'll see. It's very important to me to get the AMAs as parallel to each other as possible because I don't want any drag. But anyway, we've got the forward ACA pretty much in the final position to clamp down, and it's looking good. I just have to do the back ones, and then I'll be ready to connect the AMAs to the ACAs, and well, we're getting close to the end. Okay folks, well, we have a real treat for you here. I have my two grandsons. They are going to introduce themselves in just a second. And Grant, the older one, has been helping me with the trailer. Luke is helping also, but Grant is going to explain what we've been doing with this trailer that comes from a special company called Trailex. It's all aluminum. You can see it. I've built one of these before. It's a beautiful trailer, and he's been helping me put it together. So on the left, we have Grant. He is my grandson. And Grant, would you explain a little bit about what you've been doing with the trailer?
So I've been turning all the bolts, and I've connected mostly every single part.
Yes, you have.
And we're about to put on the wheels.
Right. And so, Luke, are you going to help us with this, with the trailer when we get a little further along?
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Okay. And so, Grant, do you remember when you figured out that I had actually made a mistake and
Yes.
put part of it together backwards?
I looked at the extra. Here, I'll show you. So right here, we actually flipped it. Captain actually flipped it around, and I said, "Hey, Captain, this is not right." And he said, "Yes, it is." And then he looked at the picture, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm wrong." Then we had to turn it around.
Okay, so would you point to the part that we had to turn around? What did we do backwards?
The square, we had to turn it around. So these, like right here, these were right here.
Oh, so we had the front where the back was supposed to be, and vice versa. Okay, so what is left on the trailer? What are we doing now?
So we're putting on the wheels.
Okay, and there they are over there.
Yeah, Luke. So me and Luke combined, we can barely even lift this. Here, Luke, hold it.
Okay,
Come on, no,
so we're gonna put the wheels, you're gonna put the wheels on.
Yes.
And then, now,
Put it down.
is the trailer upside down?
No.
Do we have to turn it over to put the wheels on?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Okay. And then what are the other pieces that we're going to put on that are going to support the boat? Remember, we talked about those. Which are the pieces that support the boat? Show us. Show us the pieces. Okay, those are the fenders, right? And we're gonna wait a little bit on that. But what about these other pieces in the trailer?
So we're actually gonna do this piece after we put the wheels on.
Right.
And those pieces are supposed to hold the trailer. Hold the trailer in place so the boat can go flat on.
So Luke, does the boat sit on those pieces of carpet? And what is that? Is that the roller for the front? Okay, well, we have a lot of pieces to put together. And actually it's starting to look like a trailer. Okay. So are you coming over tomorrow? We're going to do some more work?
Yes.
Okay. And how about you, big guy? Are you coming over? Okay. Well, that's great. And these two men, young men, how old are you?
7.
How old are you?
4.
See, I said they're young men. These two young men have helped me out a lot.
I'm about to turn 8 in April 10th.
Okay. And we'll have updates for you later, okay? Okay. Well, folks, as we finish up today, I just wanted to show you what the boat is starting to look like now that the amas are temporarily connected to the acas. I've used some clamps here just for a temporary fit. Right here, these acas run on the outside. This is aft. Forward, they run on the outside of the reinforcing bulkheads here. And I'm gonna have to drill through here and into here for 2 bolts on each one. And the alignment's gonna be very important. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill the holes in here first, get them exactly positioned. Then I'm gonna start positioning the acas to line up the holes for drilling. And at the same time, before I actually drill, I'm going to be measuring everything. In other words, I want the bows to be equidistant. I want the middle to be equidistant. The stern here of the the amas, want them to be equidistant. And I need for all of the pieces to be parallel and square. So the akas have to be parallel and square, and the amas have to be parallel and square, and then they have to be square to the boat. So it's going to take a little bit of careful measurement before I finally drill the holes right in here, which will determine the position. But this will give you an idea of what the finished boat is going to look like, give you an idea of the proportion of the amas to the central hull itself, and the width of the akas. You can see the distance from this ama over here to this ama is almost 10 feet, and this is on a 14-foot boat. So you can see where the stability comes from. But it's all coming together, and it's been slow, but it's working out just right. In the next episodes, I'll be drilling the holes, positioning everything, making sure everything's straight, and then I'll start the final varnishing. I have to varnish the deck again, and I have to put some coats of varnish here on the reinforcing plates, and I still have more varnishing to do on the akas. And this is all very slow and boring and uninteresting, so next time I will hopefully just be showing you the finished product and spare you the boredom. So again, thanks for being with me today. The boat is coming together just fine, and I'm quite pleased with the progress. So we'll see you next time. So long.